So we are here with the Chevrolet BrightDrop 600. A little history on the BrightDrop specifically. So GM had released, I believe it was in 2022, the BrightDrop as a model that was being sold under the GM umbrella. What they decided in the fall of last year was we are going to put it under the Chevrolet brand for their dealership network. And so they relaunched the BrightDrop 600 under the Chevrolet branch in 2025, and this just hit the lot. So now in a dealership probably coming near you will be this Chevrolet BrightDrop 600. There's also a 400 model, which is slightly smaller, which we'll talk about in a minute. But we wanted to take a moment and do a full tour of this, what you could consider a brand new Chevrolet BrightDrop. So with that being the case, obviously, if you look at this vehicle, you see a delivery van. So if you're looking into a solution for your workplace, deliveries, whatever you do within your business, and you want an EV functionality and the cost savings that are associated with having an EV, you have a limited selection market. You have the BrightDrop, but also another common one with the recent announcements by Rivian opening up their vehicles. The competition for this is going to be the Rivian van. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of walk you through some of this vehicle's features. We're going to walk through and do a full tour of the vehicle, and then we're going to talk about some of the statistical differences between this and the Rivian as its competition. So, starting off, we're going to obviously be greeted by the front end. You have a very sharp nose. We popped the front a minute ago. I'll start there just because it's not much to look at. But inside, there's a little front pop button. This is just an auxiliary to access the insides of the fluids and the 9-volt battery. But no major front storage. You wouldn't expect that in this vehicle. It's meant to have all your stuff in the back. Nonetheless, the brand new feature of 2025 is your Chevrolet badging on the front. And so yeah, this is obviously a pretty standard front end. You're not looking for all the bells and whistles because this is a delivery van. So in this model, obviously a gigantic windshield, double wipers, unlike the Cybertruck, shout out Cybertruck with a single large wiper. Moving along to the side, this is the longer version. Like I said, this is the 600. There is a 400 model, which obviously the cargo space goes from 600 plus feet down to 400 and something feet. I'll give you those exact specs in a minute. But you have the full size body here. Moving along towards the rear, you're able to see that this has a charge port on the back left rear, standard CCS port for charging with DC fast charging capabilities. Here. Now, moving along to the rear, we are going to look at some of the backside features. The initial impression of the backside is it does kind of carry a similarity to the Rivian van. Obviously, the Rivian has a full light bar that goes all the way around. Take it or leave it. This has some handlebars to get up in and out of the vehicle. To access the back of the vehicle, one thing we just found out was the fact that this, you actually have to have the key on you. So you cannot leave the key in the front of the vehicle, you have to have it on you. But you'll push the button, it will disengage, then you'll twist, and it'll open right up. It's got the mechanism for assist open, so it was not difficult to open at all. And there you're greeted by the gigantic rear storage space that is associated with this vehicle. The BrightDrop 600 has 614.7 cubic feet of storage with a max payload of 3180. So compared to the Rivian Delivery vehicle, Rivian has about a 2734 on their 500, and on their 700 model they have a roughly 2,500 pound payload. So overall, a ton of storage in the back, versatile to build out however your business might desire, but easily accessible. You have your handles to get in and out, and we will do a more deep dive once we get into the inside of the vehicle. So obviously, this is a standard delivery type van, so you're going to have your accessible doors to open and close via slide on both sides, entry to the vehicle, easy access either way. So now what we'll do is we'll take a dive inside and kind of look at the driver comfort and features, the little passenger seat, and do a little bit deeper dive of the specs of this Chevy BrightDrop 600.
And if you're a tall delivery person, show how easy it is to get in without hitting your head.
I'm 6'6", and I don't hit my head walking in the vehicle. So now we are sitting here. Obviously, this is not meant to be your luxury as far as all of the features. You have standard cloth seats, rubber mats. This is a work vehicle. You do have the versatility to control how far and close via the manual. I'm 6'6" and sitting very comfortably behind the wheel here. But yes, looking at the inside features, this is very much a Chevy production. If you've driven any Chevy vehicle, you're going to see a lot of the exact same features that are associated with that. So obviously the new Chevy badging on your steering wheel, but a lot of the controls are the exact same to other GM or Chevy products that we've reviewed. Similar exact setup with the infotainment system, the ability to connect phones, mapping systems, music, the whole 9 yards. So very similar feel to this. It does have speaker systems. You have OnStar, accessibility, lighting within the cabin. But yeah, overall, a ton of nose space here. You actually have a little bucket there for items, but a ton of space off of the nose of the vehicle. And what you'll notice is there's a charging port here, power button here. You got your blinkers, obviously, as a prime function, because that's something that you do a lot within these vehicles. But like I said, the functionality with it behind the steering wheel is very, very much standard to the Chevy if you've driven a Chevy before. And so looking at the passenger seat, you also have a pull down passenger seat with an orange seat belt attached. So if you did have a passenger, they can be buckled along safely. And then also another sliding door for easy access to your large rear. Now we're in the rear of the BrightDrop 600, and I don't know what you're expecting. It's a standard delivery van. You can obviously retrofit this with shelving or whatever functionality that you need, but you have floor anchors, ton of space. Once again, I'm 6'6" and able to easily navigate up and down without hitting my head, which is a great feature. But very versatile functionality, easily accessible inside and out. You can't open the door from the inside manually, should you choose to, but overall, great functional space. So now let's take a run back outside and we'll talk about the differences between this Chevy and the Rivian competition. So obviously we're back outside of the BrightDrop now, and you might be asking yourself, so what's the difference between this and its competitors, Rivian? And so we will kind of dive into some of the technicals between the BrightDrop models and the Rivian models and some of the pros cons between the two, and help you maybe decide which one might be the best for you and your use case. So obviously the Chevy BrightDrop comes in two models. You have the 400 and the 600. This is the 600. The 400 has 412 cubic feet. That's where you get the 400 from. And the 600 has 614 cubic feet of storage in the rear. So obviously this is the longer version, which would be more comparable to what you see. Now Rivian, on the other hand, has two models as well. They have a 500 and a 700. So you have a 4, 5, 6, and 700. You can pick which size you want based on the price there. So with that being the case, the one additive that you can do with the Chevy is there's actually two different battery packs that you can select from. You have a standard range, which is a 121 kilowatt battery pack, and then you have the max battery pack, which is actually equipped on this vehicle, and this is 173 kilowatts on this vehicle. With that being the case, you also have the length of this one in specific is 290 inches long. The Rivian is 278, this is 290, so this is actually slightly longer of a vehicle. The equivalent with the width of this one without the mirrors is 106 inches, and the Rivian is 103 inches. And then if you look at the height, this one is 108, and where the Rivian gets its extra footage is actually from height. So if you're looking for a long vehicle, this is actually longer than Rivian 700. However, it has a little bit less feet because it's not as tall as the Rivian van. So just a fun stat, this is actually a longer vehicle than the Rivian, but it is not as tall, so the cubic feet is a little bit different. This, I think, would be the best, closest competitor to the Rivian 700, and so we can kind of dive into a little bit about the pricing metrics that are associated. So if you get the BrightDrop 600, the starting price for this is right around $79,000 retail as it sits MSRP. If you go to the max range, this one on its sticker with the max range, it has the extra module that allows for the full 19.2 kilowatt level 2 charging. This has a couple extra features. This one sticker is $93,000. So this has the 1100 as an upgrade to where you can actually get the 19.2 kilowatt level 2 charging, and the max speeds that are capable for DCFC charging is only 120 kilowatts on this, and so it does charge, the peak charging is a little bit slower. I bet you there's a better peak. We've not put this on a DCFC to test it, but this is not similar to like the GMC truck or the Chevy Silverado where you're seeing those, that 800 volt architecture. My guess is this will perform very similar in size and quantity to 400 volt architecture, where you might see a peak of 160, 170, but they're advertising the max charging speed at 120 kilowatts. So obviously most of the times in this vehicle, you're gonna drive it around all day, bring it back to the office, and you'll have 19.2 kilowatt capability at your office or home to refill prior to the next day when you get back on the road. So functionality wise, this has the two battery pack sizes, the 120 kilowatt and the 173 kilowatt. And so that gives you a little bit of versatility just depending on your use case and how you might use the vehicle. If you go to the Rivian, they have not actually specified the size of the battery, but the big difference to note is this has, for the range of 272 miles is what is advertised at. Obviously city highway combined. If you drive this around the town all day, you'll probably get slightly better performance than that, but let's just say 275 mile range. The equivalent to it is the Rivian 700, which doesn't have a specified battery pack size, but the range is only 150 miles. And that's the max. It doesn't have any other versatility. Now, for close competition, if you're going standard battery pack in the BrightDrop versus standard battery pack, the only battery pack in the Rivian, that is a estimated highway range of 151, city range of 193, average of about 170. So this will slightly outperform the Rivian on actual range with the standard battery pack at 153 miles, but you do have to get that extra upgrade to the max battery pack, which is about a $8,000 upgrade on the MSRP to get that max battery pack to feature the longer range of 273 miles. But in the delivery van EV space, 273 is cutting edge, and for your around town driving, if you have a heavy load, you'll be able to get anywhere you want to do all day long. So with that being the case, there is that extra versatility, but if you get, you have the capability of also getting this vehicle as an all-wheel drive. The Rivian only comes as a front-wheel drive, and so this does have the ability to add all-wheel drive should you choose to. So yes, that's pretty much the major stats. I'm not going to get into every single technical. If you're really evaluating for your business, I highly encourage you to do a deep dive into the specific vans to understand what might make the most sense for you. However, very impressed with this offering coming out of Chevy slash GM with their BrightDrop product, and I think this is a great addition to the Chevy lineup and all of their vehicles. And them and GM choosing to bring BrightDrop into the Chevy allows you to have these vehicles on lots near you. A big shout out to Champion Chevrolet for letting us review this vehicle. This one just came on the lot a couple days ago and is here in Kingsport, Tennessee. But if you're interested in this exact vehicle, Chevy, our local Chevy lease has deals for up to $30,000 off of this delivery van. So you could get this one with the max battery pack and all of the associated amenities for as little as $63,000. So terrific option for the range, the functionality, and if you're making a consideration to take your fleet or your business, delivery business into an EV, I think this is a terrific option. Obviously, we've been inside the Rivian van. It's impressive, has all of the same features that you would expect. Nonetheless, I think this is an affordable option if you're looking at a delivery vehicle that has a lot of functional storage, and you have the versatility. You have the 400 if you have smaller delivery or work truck needs, or also you could look at this for the larger version if you had more tools or more packages that you were delivering. So, all right, so we're going to take this just for a quick drive and be able to kind of see the engagement. Something to note is you push the brake in, you have to actually disengage the parking brake. The doors lock when you leave park. So in order to actually open the doors, you have to have it in park, which is fine. But you pull it back, put it in drive, and now we're on our way. Very standard Chevrolet experience. Great visibility out of all windows, which is obviously expected in a vehicle like this. But you get that EV drive experience that you're expecting. Smooth, comfortable, quiet. It's got the gentle hum of the EV like you get used to when you're driving an EV. But yeah, that's a very, very comfortable ride. I'll kind of give a little turning radius here. So now from a complete stop, you get a little bit of extra torque in it. Yeah, I mean, you get plenty of extra torque and juice. I mean, it's a big vehicle. You're not getting a launch like you'd see in a standard vehicle, but plenty of extra juice when you push the accelerator. Overall, though, a very comfortable experience. We're gonna have the seatbelt chime because I'm driving around the dealership parking lot here. But comfortable seat experience, very nice, smooth ride. One important thing when you're driving a vehicle like this is you want to know the turning radius, and when you put it in reverse, you can see that you have the 360 camera in all angles. So lots of control over that. And actually, when you put it in drive, it actually puts the front camera on so you can see what's in front of you because the nose is so steep. So it does a lot for safety features. And when you start to drive, the camera will turn off. So a lot of functionality in here to keep the driver safe, but you can also look around the different angles of the camera, left, right, side, front, back, straight rear. So a lot of great control there, and you can control your regeneration and otherwise. But very standard, like I said, very standard Chevy product delivering. So overall, very impressed. Let us know your thoughts. Drop a comment below. What do you think about this compared to the Rivian vehicle? Let us know what you think as far as the comparisons that we made and your overall thoughts of this vehicle. As always, like and subscribe to Turn Down for What for more EV reviews. We will be doing several more coming up in the very near future of other vehicles that we could gain access to. But for today, very impressed with this Chevy BrightDrop 600. Go to the description below and we will put a link to Champion Chevrolet and this exact vehicle that we showcased today. That's all for now. See you next time. Thanks for tuning in to this EV review with Turn Down for What. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like and subscribe for more exciting content. We've got plenty more in store, so stay charged and we'll see you next time.